everybody. Mahala Monday. Yes, and it is the day before Freedom Day, isn't it? So really awesome to be with you. My name is Dougal. Good morning. And yes, Rhoda, everybody.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mahala Monday, everyone. I bet there's a lot of people probably watching the show at the moment in the comfort of their home, taking a day off from work today, seeing that it is Freedom Day tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you're one of those, then we're glad that you are relaxed and all of that. And, of course, watching Mahala Monday. And as always, you know, we are live on YouTube and on Facebook and the details. So this is an interactive show. So we look forward to getting your questions and your comments for today as well. So you can simply just add those at Nickay Productions on YouTube and Facebook. And you'll find those details at the bottom of your screen. Now, let's get straight into it, because today I've been looking forward to this show specifically for a little bit. And with that being said, you know the show is all about you. So the premise of how Mahala Monday started was really to get information to you in an easy and an accessible way. This is what it's all about. And we've done quite a number of shows, Rhoda.
That is true, Dougal. We've done quite a bit of show, and it has really been just about you guys getting all the information out there, and especially for the youth out there and for the young entrepreneurs and old entrepreneurs, just getting information to be able to start your own businesses, where to go study, you know, just giving you a path to basically tell you, take this path and decide what you want to be one day.
Yeah, and what we've done when it comes to businesses and entrepreneurs, we've spoken to experts, we've spoken to lifestyle coaches, we've spoken to tertiary institutions, we've done all of that, and then always we have brilliant ideas. And when we say we have brilliant ideas, Rhoda has a brilliant idea. I kind of just tag on it, and she said, you know what we got to do one day is we got to talk to somebody who's actually watched the show. And then get sort of input from that and actually feature the show for the people that actually watch it.
That watches it, that's true.
And I'm like, well, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Which brings us to today.
That's right. Yeah, so we've got one of our fans out there, and the reason being why we thought, okay, you know what, let's bring one of our guys or fans in there that's actually watched the show.
Yeah.
So instead of us always punting and saying what we're all about, it was actually wanting to find out from a viewer what is their point of view and what they've learned.
Yeah, and also to get their perspective on some of the things that we have sort of featured on the show. So without further ado, I suppose the honor falls onto me today.
Most definitely.
He's watched many a Mahala Monday episode. He has always commented on, you can always find his comments on the blog afterwards. And what is really fantastic, we wanted to get his life story about it. We also wanted to get his perspective on certain topics. And we thought, you know what, who better than to ask Hubert Paulse. So Hubert Paulse is joining us on Mahala Monday. Hubert, good morning. Thank you so much for coming along on Mahala Monday. Thank you for being here. It is actually good to have you on. How are you doing?
Sorry.
Good morning. I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Morning, Hubert.
Listen, a short while ago, Rhoda was saying people are doing in their bed. I'm having a look at you, and you're just looking sheer relaxed there.
Little Buddha today.
Oh, you're little Buddha today. Hubert, thank you for being on the show. You know what? I think we've come accustomed to always kind of look out for your little text on the, on the screen, because I think a Monday without Hubert's comments is not a Monday, Mahala Monday, as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you for that, Rhoda.
And it's actually quite lovely to see your face.
It is, because people who would have watched the show, they might want to see, like, hey, what does Hubert look like? And now we finally get Hubert. So, here it is. You all know this is an interactive show at Nickay Productions on YouTube and on Facebook. Any questions or comments that you would like to add, we're certainly looking really forward to hearing that and, of course, seeing that as well. So, Hubert, let's get into this, because as we said, as we opened the show this morning, the show is all about the people that watch it. And, of course, creating that platform and having that forum where there's ideas that are changed, because we all know 2 heads are better than 1, 5 heads are better than 2, 20 heads are better than 6, blah, we all know that. And you've always commented on a whole array of things. So we wanted to get your life story into it, and we want to know a little bit more about you. But we certainly have an avenue that we want to explore. But quickly, in a nutshell, tell us, what is it that you do? What is your life story up until this point?
Thanks. Firstly, Dougal, I come from a good home. That's why they don't want me back. I've been for the last 3 years. I've been involved in sales and marketing, and I've worked for quite a number of corporates, as well as for myself as well for the last 10 years, as well as for NPOs as well. I went into sales and marketing because it's a perfect opportunity to see how brands are built. And that's why I've latched onto Mahala Monday, because it helps entrepreneurs diversify their marketing opportunities. The reason why I watch the show as well, I'm wanting to end the war between sales and marketing, and try to get companies to understand that those two are not one, but they need to be aligned. Hence the reason why watching the show and listening to other entrepreneurs, what they say, what their experiences are, has made me almost get more involved in Mahala Monday. And that's why I pass on the comments that I do, because I find it exceptionally entertaining as well as informative.
No, that is awfully brilliant that you say that. We much appreciate that. But looking at from that perspective, so you've got the corporate experience, and then also you've got a bit of the entrepreneurial experience going as well.
Yeah, I like to see myself as a business incubator. So hence the reason why I listen to the show as much as I do, because one needs to take what you've learned, and I love to share the information that I've learned.
Yeah.
Because it's pointless keeping everything to yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends will tell you I'm a bit of a motor mouth. I do come across as someone who with things they know it all. But I love putting out what I've learned, and then I love receiving as well, especially when people respond to my comments and those things.
Yeah. You know what, I absolutely like what you say there, because I think that is really what it is all about. It is creating that sort of forum where people can, like-minded people, and even if you're not like-minded, it doesn't matter, but you've got to get the conversation going. You've got to start talking about it, because we hear this every day in the media. We hear it from politicians, we hear it from our leaders, we hear it across the board. We need a stronger entrepreneurial spirit. We hear this, and for the longest time, I've had my personal perspective has been that certain things it's so difficult to get it going. It is so difficult. But then when we look at entrepreneurs, and this is really why we have you on as well, because we wanted to get your personal perspective about this, and really just Hubert Paulse's personal perspective and life story on this. Do you think, and this is a sort of I just want to throw this out there, do you think in today's society, and the reason I'm saying that maybe we don't have the kind of entrepreneurial spirit that we do, and I do think everybody wants to make money. Don't get me wrong. So I'm going to say that on the one side. But do you think we need to get companies and businesses and organizations, especially the big ones, they almost need to think smaller, and the small businesses almost need to think bigger? And I'm only saying this because a moment ago you said sales and marketing, they kind of align. They're not against each other.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Big business, small business was big business before. That's where they started. So I think we need to understand, and entrepreneurs shouldn't be developed at business level. I think our mainstream schooling needs to change and start teaching more entrepreneurial. Try to identify and grow that there at school level already. I mean, it's probably the most difficult thing to do is to start your own business.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome, starting your own business, but it's incredibly difficult as well. At one stage, it was 90% of startups that failed.
Yeah.
And I don't think people. And probably corporates who are very comfortable in their positions and do not understand what small companies, SMEs go through. Entrepreneurs are anxious like any other person, but they are more anxious than other people because they experience more day-to-day stresses that you have.
Yeah.
I mean, we're responsible for our bottom line, and every setback falls on us personally. So I think companies need to understand, or big companies and big corporates need to understand that.
Yeah.
Oh, Hubert, I'm loving this, because you know why I'm loving this also is because you're talking about experience here. You've basically been in the big corporates, worked with the big corporates, and working within the environment as well, and then having to be an entrepreneur as well and starting your own little business as well. You're obviously speaking about experience here, and this is what I'm loving at the moment. And I mean, give me a fire, brother, regarding the school kids at the end of the day and starting entrepreneur education at school level already. And I mean, this is a discussion I had with somebody as well. I mean, your basic tax returns, things, your basics that need to be taught at school. They need to relook at our schools and really say we need to educate our masses for the future. How to do your financials, how to budget, what is an entrepreneur, starting your own business. And my experience, I mean, and it's always stuck with me, when I went to Dubai, I just found that you had electronic shops. The whole bottom part of the mall was just electronics, and they were competing on the healthy level. So it wasn't that they, because if it was that they were killing each other on business-wise, you wouldn't have all these guys next to each other. And I think as a South African, we need to look at this and look at this, like you said, the sales and marketing should be as one and not fighting against each other. Same as I don't know if you feel exactly the same regarding that we need to uplift each other. If you're doing photography, I'm doing photography, I would love to educate you and lift you. And this is what Mahala is all about. Is that, how do you feel about that as well?
Rhoda, I don't want to come across as knocking big business, but it would be nice for them to look at SMEs, you know, start mentorship programs, not only for SMEs, and give them more work, but at school as well. I mean, you had I think, and I hope I'm not wrong, but you had Linda Remke of Volunteers on your show.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I think she was a business coach.
Yeah.
When I watch that show, for example, you know, you wonder, where were you 25 years ago? Because do you know how that would have helped? You know, appointing a business coach. You know, you as an entrepreneur, you have to do everything for yourself.
Yeah.
So I cannot agree with you or disagree with you anymore or any stronger for that matter.
So having a look at that, Hubert, I mean, we all know it is fairly difficult for any entrepreneur to get out of the starting blocks to get going and maybe make the 2-year target and then 5 years and onwards. So looking at your experience, how difficult was it to start for you doing these things? And in general, what have you perceived that other entrepreneurs might be struggling with?
Good question. I think if I look at back, is almost just getting that foot in the door and giving a small guy an opportunity to showcase what he could do or can do. Like I said previously, it's 90% of startups failed in the past because they weren't given opportunities, and we need support. We need an opportunity. We don't want the entire pie. We just want a piece of the pie when it comes to those opportunities that's out there.
Oh, okay. And just on that as well, I mean, this is entrepreneurs out there as well. And like I said, you come from both worlds. So to start a business, basically, for an entrepreneur, the question for me is, can they start without money? Can they start a business without money, Hubert?
Yeah, and just to add on that, because a lot of people are looking at that as like the big stumbling block. Like, I don't have finances to get this idea, which I think is brilliant, off the ground. You know what I mean? People don't know where to do. You go look for investors. What do you do?
What do you do?
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to answer the question and say, if you are determined enough, you can start a business without money. There are many ways to do it. For example, co-founders, getting a co-founder or a partner, especially a partner that's trustworthy. You could use partners. There's things such as crowdfunding. If you've got an idea in terms of a product, get family and friends involved, but put criteria in place such as proper returns on that investment if they are going to be funding your business. You know, they pitch too high to what they call angel investors. So those are your high net worth individuals. Your return on your interest on those type of people investing in you, for me, it is probably a better return than putting yourself under more pressure by getting bank loans and using credit cards. And the worst thing, it's what most of us do. I did it. You take part of your pension and you start a business. So one needs to maybe just start thinking differently. I know we keep doing the same thing, expecting different results in terms of you start the business, you come up with an idea, you go to the bank, it gets funded. Now you're under more pressure. I like the idea with a partner that you can actually, put funds together and create more opportunities for getting in funds. The nice thing with partners as well, you've got that emotional support when things go stuff or get stuff. They can also provide different skills and knowledge, and they also come across with more connections as well.
Yeah.
So there's ways to do it. One just needs to think a bit long and hard about ways of starting a business without huge capital, for that matter.
Yeah.
I think it's that adage of working smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Because it is a challenge. It is a challenge. How do you start how would you get funding? And because I was going to ask you, how did you do it? And you said you've used portions of annuity or pension fund, I think you mentioned. These are the bits that you've had. But now I've got an idea, right? What did you do? How do you sit back there and go, oh, that's a profitable idea for a startup? That sounds like how do you go about it? Because, and let me just say this quickly, because I thought now in the COVID time, like for what we're doing, a lot of things start, do you know what, like certain things, businesses build on businesses. So for instance, we know a lot of people were doing in the past year or so, a lot of people were working from home, those that were. So now all of a sudden for me, that's almost like chairs become a new business. Do you know, like a comfy chair, if you're going to sit on the chair the whole day. And then the next thing, like something under the chair, like a hard mat or something, a rolly chair, or, do you know what I mean? And then flooring becomes a new thing, and food deliveries at home. And these are little businesses, almost like opportunity gets born out of a difficult situation, if I can put it that way. But how do you identify something? How do you actually turn that sort of pipe dream, if I can call it that, and no disrespect to any entrepreneur, how can you turn that dream and spot the gap in the market and go, this is what I do? Is there a different way? Because I've always heard entrepreneurs, they think differently. So with all of that being said, how do you actually find the good startup idea, something that's profitable?
So every startup begins with an idea. And those ideas are normally start around the fire, behind the hand.
Yeah.
Without an idea, there's no opportunity to start anything. In my case, I asked a lot of friends and family members what frustrated them with either products or services, and then it's finding a solution for that frustration for people, and people will be finding the solution for people that will be willing to pay to alleviate that problem or solution. There's a great example of Travis Kalanick and Garrett Camp that started Uber.
Yeah.
And they started Uber after they had cab trouble. So it is taking the idea and then speaking to people and say, do you have these issues? Do you need these products? And kind of building a solution around that, and that's how I started.
Yeah.
With regards to my career, if I can put it that way.
Yeah.
Hubert, I just have someone, also one of our very popular, I would say, Mahala Monday fans, Jabbar. That's for you, Jabbar. Yeah. And Jabbar's basically asking question. I'm worried that many of our young deaf youth felt negative to start their own business because of lack of education, accessibility to gain more information. What do you do if you meet a deaf candidate who keen to start their own business? Would you advise to make money or how to get money to start to invest the business on the deaf community?
I think we as corporates and I talk interim, and I see myself as a corporate, even being a small entrepreneur, we need to give the deaf more opportunity. We need to create that opportunity. I don't think enough is being done at government level. I don't think enough is being done at corporate level to give even the disabled, for that matter, those opportunities. I think I lost part of the question. If you don't mind, maybe repeating it. If you don't mind, Rhoda.
Okay. So you just wanted to find out basically if you could give some advice on how. I'll just go down a bit. I just want to get to the question again. Sorry, but so you just wanted to know basically if you meet a deaf candidate who's keen to start their own business, would you advise to make money, to make money, or how to get money to start invest the business? How would you advise them?
I think you need to, again, the idea would be market yourself properly. Have a look at companies that are in the media space who are not utilizing the deaf, for that matter. And you have to first sell the idea before you're going to make money anyway.
Oh yeah.
So it is selling the idea, and then from there building how you want to invest that idea and how you would sell that to a corporate. More as I would sell it as a what they call a fab. You kind of want to look at it as a feature, advantage, and a benefit for the company. For them then to invest money in your idea or your service, for that matter. I don't know if that answers some of the questions that Jabbar posed.
I think it does, because I was actually going to ask you something. How do you identify and grow a product? Now, you use the example of like an idea just, and it's amazing how a good idea just come out of nothing or some sort of situation. But how do you identify and you grow your product? So let's say somebody now, because you started, I mean, you've been doing this for a while, you know, and consequently you are now involved in more than one business. But at some point, if I am just selling, let's call it samosas, or I make cook sisters or something on a weekly basis, you know, and in my mind, I kind of see one day having a little cake shop somewhere in a mall, or, you know, as like a dream. How do you bridge the gap? How do you get there?
Okay, so you don't need to reinvent the wheel if there already aren't enough wheels out there. You know, many people and myself included, you start a business after noticing a gap in the market. In my case, a shortage of high quality marketing outsourcing. So, you know, since I had experience in sales development and marketing at an early stage for the various companies I worked, you know, you kind of fall into that comfort zone, and that's almost a service that, in my case, again, I decided to offer this service to startups. So it's about identifying the gap, and then kind of just running with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we got you. So and it's just pushing through. It's like you say, you know, you're not reinventing the wheel, you know what I mean? Because I often hear people speaking about quality product, you know what I mean? Like, I often hear people saying that this is the value, this is what it is.
Yeah.
This is the product. So if you believe in what you sell, it is an easy sell, wouldn't it?
Correct. You're not going to support or sell something that you don't believe in.
Yeah.
You know, you don't always need to develop something brand new.
Yeah.
You just need to. You really have to look at improving on that offer or service that you are providing already as is.
Yeah.
And then just sorry to go. Just on it, Hubert, and I think you could vouch for this. Could I say also at the end of the day, if you're wanting to start a business, basically as an entrepreneur, starting a business with your cakes or rotis, or whatever you want to start off with, for me personally, I would say it's best to also speak to people that had start business, just to, like you now, that's actually had experience on being in corporate and starting your own business, to actually kind of talk to people like that. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Again, it's about sharing experiences, and it's that reinventing of the wheel that we always talk about.
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs, sadly, do not want to share ideas or experiences because they fear potential competition. And I think that is a mistake we all fall into. We have to share ideas. We have to share experiences. We need to grow the SME market. There's no other way we're going to grow our economy if we don't allow more SMEs to do it. We can't depend on government. We can't always depend on government, and we can't always depend on big business. It is these small SMEs that will grow this economy. And we can only do that with sharing ideas and experiences.
That is so true.
And do you find that there's not a lot of idea sharing going around? Because I sometimes find there is quite a bit of ideas going, or idea sharing going around, that people speak to mentors, that every entrepreneur almost, as like part of your checklist, you got to have like some sort of, which is part and parcel why we're talking to you, because you've gone through this road. Now, in your experience, did you have somebody that could take you by the hand? Was somebody forthcoming with idea sharing with you? Was there somebody you could go to and say, listen, I've got this idea, hello?
There was, and he's no longer with us. It's my father. My father. The old people in those days, you either you become a teacher, or you work for the government. You do not work for yourself. You work for a pension, and that's how the old people thought.
Yeah.
My father started off with that mentality, but then he also did not prevent us from experiencing and trying new things. So yes, that was my springboard, my mentor. And he'd always play devil's advocate in terms of, I've got this idea, I want to do this. And we need more people out there. We need more mentors. We need more business coaches out there as well.
So true.
So you're not going to do this entirely on your own. If you think you're going to do this on your own, you're going to be part of that 90% of startups that's going to fail.
Yeah.
So true.
I like the fact that this is really something that you got to share ideas, because this actually goes in line with two comments that I want to mention. So firstly, we touch on this one from Jabbar, because and I think this one is specifically for you as well. Jabbar just says, if somebody who, let's say a deaf candidate for business, future employment, would be keen to meet with you, would you be keen to reach out and actually share ideas? And I think you've answered that.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, you would be.
I would love to learn more from there's not a lot of experiences working with the deaf or the disabled, and one needs to understand what they go through and what experiences they have.
Yeah.
So the easy answer is absolutely yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got another comment from Sher Khan, which is really great to hear from you as well, which is great show, guys. Love it. Believe entrepreneurs need to start at school, 100%. Do you think that, and you touched on it, that what you said, what the old people used to call, or, the previous generation used to think, or how we were raised, or how society was dictating things. Because I look at it this way, and I hear what Sher Khan is saying, that at school it's something that should come across more. The culture of doing things should, especially for entrepreneurship, should come across more. But I just think somebody who's an entrepreneur, they just think differently, man. They just see things that I would never see, because I am not applying my mind that way. But surely I have the capacity to apply my mind that way. I'm sure of it.
I think we all have that capacity to do that, Dougal. I mean, I've got a 9-year-old niece, Skylar, that is selling loom bands.
Oh, there we go.
and at 9 years old, she's thinking entrepreneurs. She's thinking sales. She's thinking marketing.
Oh, yeah.
Like she says, she wants hockey equipment. And she says to me, you pay for the loom bands, I make it, and you can keep the profits in order to fund her business. Now, this is a 9-year-old.
Sure.
We, as parents and as, let's call ourselves mentors as well.
Yeah.
We should take every opportunity, and as parents for that matter, if your child has an idea, or they're not maybe academically doing well at school, do not discourage that we've got to learn to fail our way to success.
So true.
That's the only way we're going to learn.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we need to start. We need to start at grassroots to identify entrepreneurs and not discourage them, but encourage them.
Encourage them. That is so true.
I like that. Do you know what?
love it.
I love the thing that you say with your niece, and I don't know, my personal experience from what I've seen and just sort of experience here and there is like a lot of people in our society, we're just thinking sometimes of the shop on the corner, just having a shop. Just easy, convenient. And it might sound controversial, but then I look at other people in other nations, and it's almost like they have the same thing of having a shop, but they thinking of having the mall.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If I can use the US as an example compared to us. But it also comes down to maybe resources, opportunity, and it's got nothing to do with determination or anything like that. It's just sometimes come down to lack of opportunity. And this is why I agree with you when you say we can't always depend on government. We can't, we got to make things happen for ourselves. And now looking at your niece, imagine how her thinking will be and the thinking of her immediate peers and her friends when there's a whole generation or 100 people in that age group all thinking of how we can create different opportunities. Because if you're thinking like that at 9, imagine what you're thinking at 10, 15, 20, 25.
Most definitely.
Absolutely. Just don't try to negotiate with a 9-year-old.
You say it's mission impossible. You buy that ban or you're out of here.
As you answer and you start negotiating, you see the money falling out of your wallet. So don't even try to negotiate with a 9-year-old.
Listen, I quickly want to go to another comment here. We got one in from Leon. Leon, good morning. Thanks, mate, for this. And Leon says, it is very easy to talk the talk, but when you must walk, reality strikes. Small businesses don't often get offered like a 30-day account, for example. Big businesses also have to come to the party to help out the small guys. And I think this is something you touched on earlier. The spectrum is just different.
Oh, yeah.
Small, and how, I mean, you must have felt despondent. When I look at this comment from Leon, there must have been times where you've got various business into it, you felt so despondent, you're just like, that's it, I'm done. Do you ever get like that?
I do. Big business can easily cripple a small, and I understand exactly what Leon is saying. The days of trying to do work in the FMCG market with the retailers, for example, if you had a contract with a retailer or one of the big corporates, the chain stores, Pick and Pay, ShopRite, those guys with their trading terms will kill you. And they don't understand that you as a small business with their trading terms, you carrying them financially, you can't afford that. So I agree with him wholeheartedly. It is extremely tough to want to do business with big. As much as we need them, it is even more tough to do business with them. You kind of start asking yourself, and I've experienced this where you start asking yourself, I need this contract, but this contract's actually killing me.
Yeah.
Do you really need it then? Do you really need it then?
But how do you and just 1 second, Hubert, how do you then change that mentality? Listening to what you and Leon are saying now, how do you change that mentality because I suppose for big business it's all down to the numbers. How do you change big business ideas to go to like, okay, hang on, what is it that you guys want? How do you change that from their perspective?
So for small business, it's also about the numbers. In fact, it's even more critical about the numbers than big business.
Yeah.
Because, everything we do affects our bottom line. It affects the people that depend on us. And I'm not just talking family, I'm talking about staff as well. For me, it's always about communication. It's always about going to the person that you're dealing with and just opening up that lines of communication and saying, and trying to make them understand exactly how they're crippling you. They won't always ease those trading terms, but maybe you can start selling that thing, with everything you do, start incorporating a deposit. It is tough, but I think that's where communication becomes even more vital. If you're going to sit back and just allow it, they're going to keep doing it. So it's about building relations and building that communication with the person that you're dealing with. And I know that's even more easier said than done.
Easier said than done, yeah.
Quickly, sorry, Rhoda, just to and looking at that scenario, is that something you have experienced a lot as well?
Yes, I have. I dabbled in the FMCG market, and I vowed never ever to work in the FMCG market again. But then again, never say never, I suppose, eh?
There's a little bit of a gap there, everybody.
Oh, you cannot close that door entirely.
Yeah, there's always a saying, it goes, never burn your bridges. You never know when you need to cross them again. Hubert, and I think just listening to you now, and obviously when you're faced with this as a business owner, on those challenges where you're actually at this door and you're knocking and you're so frustrated, and you want this door to open necessarily, and sometimes there's doors that actually just won't open. This I've seen and I've experienced myself as an entrepreneur. This is where your support bases come in, your mentors come in, that actually just gives you an extra little push. Am I correct?
Absolutely correct. I value partners and I value people, business networks, because of that emotional support, because of that ideas that they have. So business coaches, mentors is vitally important to small business, for that matter. And having said that as well, when it comes to these challenges, you do a business plan when you do a startup, when you start your business. It is about, and I find every now and then just going back to that business plan helps with looking at that strategic planning that you've done, you've put in there. It just helps get you back on that track again.
Yeah,
beautiful. There is so many questions that I want to ask you right now, and of course this is a bit of a special broadcast of Mahala Monday, because somebody that watches the show, and we've spoken to entrepreneurs, we've spoken to various experts in the field, and we decided we're actually going to get somebody in just to get their opinion, and also there's stuff we want to ask you about the show as well, and I want to also know, and I want you to just sort of wrap your mind about it. In the meantime, do you think, what is the immediate things that we need to do as a nation to start entrepreneurship going? What is the help that government must do? And while you think about it, Clinton Miller has actually sent in a comment, and I'm going to ask you as well, so you've got a lot to think about, right? This is what it is, Baba. Anyway.
He said you must bring a helmet.
I did say. He says, is it viable to start a small-scale manufacturing in South Africa to increase employability, or should we just continue retailing cheaper imported products? Now, is there viability in order to do so? Also, is there a route to market for for small medium enterprises or groups or networks for SMEs, and to get into this specific space, as it's not been really forthcoming from government, and government also has many hurdles to support. They've got their hands full. Do you know what I mean? And that is what Clinton is alluding to here. So Clinton, firstly, thank you very much for your question. Did you get all of that?
No.
No.
I think government must stop playing lip service. Talk is cheap, and we need to move away from this lip service where we talk about giving more opportunities to SMEs, and then we don't.
Yeah.
We need to grow manufacturing in South Africa, because there's too many products landing cheaper than in the country than people are actually manufacturing.
Yeah.
And the end user suffers at the end of the day. I lost the last part of his question about the.
No, and yeah. So in the beginning, he was asking if there is, and let me just read it properly as well. So should we continue retailing cheaper imported products? Because he's saying, is that going to be something that's viable in the long run? And in that part, I almost don't want to agree, because what he is saying is it's better to do the things here. Do you know what I mean? Make it here, and you pay for a quality product. And also in terms of assistance with networks and groups for small and medium enterprises. And government is not really forthcoming. They talk the talk, but he's acknowledging that government has got their hands full. So looking at that, what are the other options?
let me listen to what, or let me just answer you on what you said. I kind of again disagree. I think we need to start manufacturing products in South Africa. The only thing that's preventing us from actually competing with the people that's bringing things into this country is labor, and that's unions.
Yeah.
You know, we can produce good quality product at an affordable price.
Yeah.
So if labor can let go of the government in terms of holding them by the short and curlies, then we'll have the opportunity to grow and manufacture more products in South Africa.
Yeah.
At the moment, because of labor cost, landing products is cheaper than, and I don't see why. We were one of the best manufacturing companies in all the spheres of products and manufacturing, be it arms, be it whatever. So I think, and I would love to see us producing and manufacturing more products in South Africa.
Yeah. And Hubert, sorry, on that, sorry, just on that, just to, the first part of Clinton Miller's question is the fact that should we continue, because we seem to be on that trend of importing cheaper things, and he's actually saying exactly what you said, that is, he's saying, look, for us to increase employability, which is the big thing, and create the economy where we want it to be, we need to be doing things here. And that is what Clinton is saying.
Absolutely. So I have to agree with him. In terms of the latter part of the question, Mahala Monday, perfect opportunity for, we've had, I think you've had now 6 months of Mahala Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
Right about roughly.
Yeah.
You've had entrepreneurs for all those Mondays.
Yeah.
We as entrepreneurs, there's the perfect business network to share ideas, share products, share resources. You start the business. We've got the platform in terms of the show. What happens after the show? I go back to stalking you, and other entrepreneurs goes back to doing what they do. This is where we should start this network that we talk about.
Yeah.
If we and it will open up more opportunity to sell in different spaces and to act in different spaces as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's well said. Thank you.
And you kind of answered now my last question. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, that's not fair, man.
That is so true. And obviously, I mean, this was going to be the question I think Dougal was going to ask you. So, and this is the reason why you're following us on Mahala and such a brilliant supporter, obviously, of the Mahala show.
Quickly, Hubert, just out of that, there is a lot of young entrepreneurs. I mean, I think there's everybody who's looking forward to growth. Everybody's looking forward to that journey. If somebody had to say to you now, who's 18 or 17 or 16, bumped you in the shop and say, listen, I want to start a business, would you say to that person, listen, have a business plan? Is that important? Is a business plan really, really important?
A business plan to me, it details my goals and the steps I want to take to achieve them. So as an entrepreneur, it's my job to put my mission, my vision, my long-term, short-term goals, be it strategic or not, on a business plan. And it's the only way it guides the growth of my business. So I've done a business plan, and I keep, it's almost my Bible, that I always, when things are tough, I go back to that, to look at and say, okay, so what was the idea behind starting this business? What was your vision? And what do you want to achieve by doing this? So every now and then I take it out and say, am I still on the right track or not? So it is vitally, it's pie in the sky if you just come up with an idea and you think, if I go out there, I'm going to do it. You need to jot down what you want to do strategically and then stick to that goals. And if you fall and if you feel you're failing along the way, go back to that business plan. For me, it's important. It's vitally important. And I treat everything I do, I put down on a business plan. It highlights all the threats, those opportunities for me. And I preach business plan, let's put it that way.
Okay. No, we got that. You know what? It's amazing. I mean, talking to you, and I can pick up that entrepreneurial spirit, characteristic,
Passion coming
trait, in personality, if I could call it that way. Because not so long ago, we spoke to another entrepreneur who's also doing amazing things, and it is really fun. And you remember Shakam when we spoke to him, which is absolutely brilliant from 45 Connections. And the one thing that everybody has got in common, not only do they look at constantly expanding business, but delivering. And we're talking now about top products and top services, like really, like the level. They pushing themselves exceptionally hard at delivering that, and that is the one thing. But the other thing that they also have, and it's like a two thing for me, they all understand the challenges of small and medium enterprises. They understand the social challenges, and they're constantly looking to expand and constantly looking to bring more people into it, like-minded people, and growth. This is it. And for that perspective, I almost want to say the true entrepreneur doesn't look at a personal growth, but it's a growth for many. Do you know what I mean? It's got to have a ripple effect.
Yeah.
So Hubert, I'm going to be a little stalker and tell you that I stalked you a bit, Hubert. And I found out via the little birds and people out there that you have put in so much into the community yourself. And I won't elaborate or go into detail on the places that you've put in so much. But I want to say thank you to you as well, because you're that person that actually sits on the background that nobody knows necessarily what you're doing, but I know what you did, and that's all I'm telling you. And keep on doing the good work, because all the community work you put out there, you've made big changes in a lot of people's lives. Thank you very much.
Kind of feel like a lamb to slaughter with a comment like that when you said you'd stalk me now.
No, we know about you. We do
know about
We
you.
got spies, man. We got spies. We got spies.
Oh,
but
thank you.
Hubert, having a look at all of that, and it is exactly what Rhoda said, and because you entrepreneurs, and when I say you entrepreneurs, I mean a lot of people that's got your sort of mindset, and Rhoda is one of them. You think that way, and you can clearly pick up that. When we look at, and specifically Mahala Monday, the shows we've done, and this is why we wanted to get your personal perspective on, because we've noticed the comments that you've done on and the questions you've asked and certain things. So we wanted to get your personal perspective, and really, from our side, thank you so much for being able to share that and just coming on and just sharing your insights to various things. But where do you think, where do we move to now? What is, we've highlighted some concerns, some challenges that you experienced. Where do we move to now? And what advice would you give us? Because we sort of see those shortcomings that you've highlighted. We want to definitely bridge the gap, get people talking, get it out there. And that's we just feel it's the only way for people to go forward, or for us to create more businesses, stronger sense of entrepreneurship. It's for us to talk about all of this.
Look, I alluded to it earlier when I said about all the entrepreneurs and all the businesses that's been on the show. It's now about taking Mahala Monday and creating a Mahala Monday networking platform for everybody that's been on there. The show for me is absolutely brilliant. It gives us entrepreneurs opportunity. And it almost diversify our networking opportunities by utilizing Mahala Monday as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's an absolutely brilliant platform for business.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Listen, man, all I can say is thank you so much for coming on and just sharing some of your experiences and your insight, and also touching on the challenges that you experience. It's really brilliant talking to you. So thank you very much for that. I'm done. I've got no more questions.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm done, man.
Yeah. And you know what, Hubert, it's actually just like we said, this show is for everybody out there, and that's why we had to bring everybody, which is you, on the show today. And thank you for being on our show today and giving your experiences in your life. It made a big difference.
Thank you for increasing the visibility for entrepreneurs as well.
Okay. Big one. Before you go, do you have any questions for Rhoda?
No, for Dougal.
Yeah, I actually
Let's do the show
last
different.
week
Yeah.
I have a question for Rhoda.
There we go.
You haven't answered the question last week about what size inverter we're going to need for Google.
I'll have to speak.
Maybe 45
gonna
connection
say-
can advise.
I said I'm going to have to set up a time with 45 Connection with Shir to give us some advice on how we're going to do that one. Thank you, Hubert.
I was scared that at one stage it's going to be a comedy show, but I'm glad it was a very informative one and a light-hearted chat. And do you know what, Hubert,
Definitely.
thank you so much for your insights
Thank you.
and for sharing your experiences, which I think is important. And that is really what it is all about, because
yeah.
I'm sure you would have said something that would have had a lot of entrepreneurs who's watching this, and even people who's starting to think of starting a business. Would start getting them thinking in the right way, you know what I mean? And it is about talking to people who have done it.
Oh, most definitely.
This is it.
I agree with that, Dougal. You know, that's the best place to get advice at the end of the day. So, you know what? Always find out about somebody that's actually been in business or been there, done that, and, you know, worn the T-shirt and washed it.
Yeah, I've got a funny one. So if you want to fly, you're not going to talk to somebody who's got the fear of heights. Does that work?
Drop that mic.
Does it work? No.
He's done it.
It's there.
It's there.
Hubert Paulse, thank you so much,
Thank
man,
you.
for coming on to Mahala Monday.
Thank you.
Have a
very
fabulous
much.
day.
Likewise. Take care, guys.
Cheers, man.
See you. Bye.
So all I can say is thank you, Hubert, for all your insights and for your continued support and for always watching Mahala Monday. And,
Thank you.
And Hubert has been exceptionally productive in sort of raising questions or comments, which has definitely shaped certain programs. And this must also be said, because then we would actually ask the expert, oh, but what about this and this? And it would really get that conversation going. So there's living proof of it. And just the mere fact that he has shared some of his experiences. Which is what it's about. You've got to talk to people who's kind of done it, Rhoda.
There we go. Because as a entrepreneur at the end of the day, that's exactly what you need. Because, you know, it's scary when you start a business, and just having that person that's telling you, like Hubert now, just watching this Mahala show. At the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, wanting to start a business will give you so much more encouragement to actually continue and knock on their door all the time.
Yeah. And this is exactly what it is. So once again, thank you very much to Hubert for sharing his personal experiences with us. We really appreciate somebody who come and watch the show to actually do that.
There's Mr. Khan giving us a comment there for Hubert.
Sure, saying, did Hubert actually pay you guys to get so much airtime with Mahala?
We love you.
Great show. Once again, thank you so much for that. Yeah, no, we did it. The man's got a lot of personal insights, man. It took forever. But thank you very much for all your comments and your questions as well. Much appreciated, of course. And as we always like to say, remember to like and share this. And next week, you don't want to miss it.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to miss next week.
That is all we're going to tell you.
That's
You've got to
cool.
check this one out next week. It is
at-
going to be
yeah.
brilliant.
Go look at our trailer. You'll know and see what's happening next week. See you guys.
Thanks for watching Mahala Monday. Until next time, from Rhoda and myself, Dougal. Cheers, everybody.
Bye.